In today's video, we will learn about the availability of air, basically that is oxygen. So air is necessary for all the living things to live and grow. Basically, we use the oxygen for respiration to convert glucose into energy, right? So the question arises from here is how oxygen becomes available to the plant part under the soil. So from the air we can easily get the oxygen, but how the plants part that are present under the soil get the oxygen? So we know that plants need air to grow and plants take oxygen during respiration. But does the soil present under the roots of a plant contains air? Yes, the answer is yes, because the air present in between the soil particles, and the presence of air in soil can be shown by adding water to the dry soil. So suppose if you add water to this dry soil, suppose this is a sample of dry soil, these are the particles and these particles have spaces between them that are filled with air. So when you put water in this dry soil, there will be a rise of bubbles on the surface of soil. These are the bubbles, right? That shows that air is present between the soil particles, and we can also done this activity by a simple procedure, and the aim of the activity is to show that air is trapped in the soil. Material required will be a beaker, soil sample and water. Procedure will be take a beaker. Suppose we take a beaker like this. This is a beaker, right? Place some soil in it. We are placing some soil into it. These are the soil particles. This is the soil. Okay, now add some water into the beaker, and we are adding water, that is basically H2O, into the beaker. And note your observation. So by adding water to this soil, we will observe that some bubbles are seen coming out of the soil. There will be some bubbles on the surface of the soil. These are the bubbles. Now, and from here we can conclude that the water poured on the soil goes into the spaces between the soil particles and pushes the air outwards that come out in the form of these bubbles, and hence we can conclude that air is present into the soil. Now, have you ever noticed some insects like earthworm that moves in the soil? They take air that is present in that soil between the soil particles for respiration, and they take this oxygen through their skin, right? Now the second question arises here is how air become available to the animals living in the water. Basically, how the water animals takes oxygen. So for this, animals living in the water use the dissolved air in the water. To show that air is dissolved in water, you can do the following activity. The aim of the activity is to show that air is dissolved in water. Material required will be a burner, a beaker, a matchbox and water. You can see here a student doing the same activity. Procedure will be pour some water into a beaker. He takes water into a beaker, ask an elder to heat it. That means turn on the burner, and note your observation. So from here we will observe that on heating the water, some bubbles are seen in the inner surface of the beaker. You can see here the some bubbles arises in the water beaker. Now here we can conclude that the bubbles come out from the air dissolved in the water, and this activity shows that air is dissolved in water. So for this we have proved that air is also dissolved in water. So I hope this topic is now clear to you. Thank you.